transgender athletes should compete in professional sports, starting with the posture of Antonio and Gabriela.
Do you wish to? Yeah. Okay. Well, to begin with, we believe that transgender athletes should not be able to compete on the other of the gender they were born with, because here are some factors. Well, basing only on men. ¿Cómo se dice? Yeah, transitioning into womanhood. I say it like that. One of the most common topics well, subtopics on this topic is the competitive advantage. Okay, since we all know that men's sports have technically more I don't know how to say this. It's they have lower opportunities because the payment is better, because it's also harder to get into, and it's technically more dangerous compared to when women are competing with each other. And well, yeah, mostly that's the point.
And also I want to add that while we do believe that inclusivity and equality is a very important topic to consider, we also want to consider the consequences and how fair the athletics competition would be, especially in an area that is mainly dominated by males. And we want to strictly base athletics mainly on the physiological and physical like differences that there are, that we know that they exist and are undeniable between the males and females.
Besides, we must make sure to protect the female athletes, okay? Since in most of the cases related to contact sports like wrestling or sometimes even like football, stuff like that, most of the women tend to complain that specifically one of the other players, mostly the transgender player, tends to play harder or hit harder than the others, and it's not because she is hitting them because of hate or something. It's just that it's simply naturally different, the way that a man hits and that a woman hits.
Can you present your stance now?
Yes.
Well, we believe that by allowing transgender people to participate in various sports, we take a step forward to equality and non-discrimination. By allowing the participation of these transgender people in sport, it promotes equality and prevents discrimination based on gender identity. Now, denying them this access to sport competitions based on their gender, it goes against, well, the fundamental principle of equality opportunities in the world. And I would like to add too that in many cases of people transitioning from men to women and participating on sports, there have been established guidelines for the classification of these transgenders that include hormone therapy and transition time to ensure a more competitive and equitable competition.
Yes, talking about the hormone therapy, that's mainly the point we were talking about being different biological by nature, like their genes and everything. With these hormone therapies, it's like when men underground their hormones and they go through a lot of changes and they basically could get weaker. Like, not weaker, but they are getting into the same quality of gender as the women had. So that's like the equality. There shouldn't be a big difference between their abilities to do sports. Maybe it's just how much people train harder, or simply they could be better, and that's not a negative point.
Since you're talking about the hormone treatment,